EA dropped a bunch of news on us. We got some Game Pass updates this week, and let's ask the question: what if somebody else made the CPU for the PlayStation 6? Well, they didn't, but we'll find out more about what that means at the end of the game news show. How we doing? Welcome back. Let's get into our topics for today here on the channel. As we jump in, Space Marine 2. I don't know if you guys have tracked this game. I haven't covered it a whole lot. It's very gory, but it is a game that has gotten a lot of attention. It's the 10th biggest launch of Steam 2024, their year of releases, which is crazy because we've had so many huge games. So when we think about this, is the 10th biggest Steam launch of 2024. The all-time peak we can see here on the right, 225,690 players, and that is crazy. Just thinking about launch day did really well for this game. This article is from Tech for Gamers. The key points here: Space Marine 2's managed to become 10th biggest Steam launch of this year. Game debuted with a massive concurrent player count, 225,000, the highest for the franchise. It has also received some great reviews and currently sits at very positive reviews on Steam. And a lot of people are talking about this. Saber Interactive has released a really good game. Basically, it just is a game that focuses on being a fun game first and nothing else. And a lot of people like that. There's no, from what I can tell, there's no like passes or, microtransactions. There might be. I don't know. I have only watched the game played and it actually looks pretty fun. I don't know if I'll pick it up. I just can't commit. There's so many games coming out. But there's a co-op mode. There's a ton of customization, as you can see in this awesome screenshot here. Like, this looks great. You can customize your Space Marine to look really cool. Some of the abilities and stuff look good. The weapons look super fun. Like, I don't know, just good job for the devs over at Saber for making a really good game and getting the recognition for it. I think that's also important. In a year where Black Myth Wukong came out, it's just going to be tough to surpass those sales, but these guys have definitely got a winning combo on their hands. All right, let's move on. Maybe. There we go. PlayStation Plus. This came out. This article is not new, but they did release the Plucky Squire is out now, I believe. And it's day one into PlayStation Plus, premium and extra tiers. There's also Chernobyl Light, Space Engineers, Wildcard Football, Under the Waves, and Night in the Woods, I believe, being added. There's a ton of stuff in this article, just overviews of each of the games. There's also a Ben 10 game, if that means anything to anybody. Far Cry 5, which the Far Cry series is pretty neat. This one looks super fun and interesting. And then we've got Secret Agent Clank, which was a PSP adventure release when all the PSP games were like side adventures of mainline PlayStation games. So you had like Daxter and Secret Agent Clank representing their individual franchises. It was kind of neat. Then you got Sky Gunner, Mr. Mosquito. This was a PS2 game. I remember seeing this a lot when I worked in GameStop. We had a copy that did not sell, but it was very expensive. But yeah, super cool. If you got PlayStation Plus, there's some new games to check out. All right, let's go on to our next. Speaking of services and stuff, Game Pass update, mid-month update. We've got Wargroove 2 hitting Game Pass Ultimate, PC, and Cloud. So console, PC, and Cloud. Aura History Untold hitting PC, and Frostpunk 2 also hitting PC, which is great. These games look pretty good. I don't understand Frostpunk. I tried to get into the first one. It didn't happen. Strategy games like the Aura History Untold probably isn't for me, but it looks pretty detailed, pretty good. We'll get into this Overwatch 2 news in just a moment because it's pretty intense. Fallout 76, Milepost Zero has an update. EA Sports Early Access. FC 25 is their soccer game. Early access. Starfield Shattered Space is September 30th. So this is their update for that. This is coming out at the end of the month. And then some new perks, or existing perks anyway. If you have Game Pass Ultimate, definitely check out the perks. There's free DLC, customization options for like Apex Legends and such. Anyway, this actually surprised me. Overwatch 2, we knew they were coming to Game Pass. I didn't know what all that meant. But this dropped yesterday and is available now. We may check this out once the game news is over, just to see what all is in it. But Overwatch 2 is coming to Game Passes, courtesy of Battle.net itself. From Blizzard Direct, get ready to gear up. Heroes Overwatch 2 will be dropping in the Xbox Game Pass on September 17th, which is today at the time of this recording. You won't want to miss it. Link your Battle.net account to an active Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, Xbox Game Pass for console or PC Game Pass account by November 11th, and log back in to unlock a cache of exclusive benefits that will elevate your Overwatch 2 cosmetics to new heights, and then learn more. Okay, so basically, you get a bunch of skins, which are Cardboard Reinhardt, which is awesome, Turtle Ship Diva, Cyber Dragon Hanzo, Street Runner Genji, Bee Mercy, and Cleric Lifeweaver, which is all very cool skins. And then you also get, where's it at? Here we go. One-time bonus of 30 Mythic Prisms, which you can get Mythic unlocks with from their Mythic shop. But there's more. You get a 10% XP boost, and that alone might make me play Overwatch again, because in the battle pass isn't such a slog. You also have access to an awesome collection of shop cosmetics from the past 3 seasons, which are interesting because I did not finish any of these seasons, and going back to look through, hey, maybe there's something I might want to pick up. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this continues to unfold. But this is what the kind of stuff I was hoping for once Microsoft actually got Activision Blizzard, is integrations like this, where we see free-to-play games getting just some direct benefit on Game Pass some kind of way. And here it is, you get a Battle Pass boost. Like, that's awesome. You get some free skins, which is amazing, and it's much better than like the Apex Legends weapon charms, which are fine, but they're all kind of samey. They're all gold-plated items. And this is a bunch of different skins and things that you can actually like enjoy throughout the game. And there's game effects as well, like the XP boost in the Battle Pass, the Mythic Prisms or Shards or whatever they're called. All the currencies for these things. Anyway, I like this. It's going to be curious to see. I'm curious to see how this is going to evolve over time. Is there going to be more skins added every like quarter or every season? Is there going to be like a different benefit each season? Is the XP boost always going to be there? I have no clue, but I think that's definitely worth checking out. If you play Overwatch or have played Overwatch, check it out again if you got Game Pass. I know I'll be doing that. All right, let's move on. All right, here we got the weekly layoff report. This isn't the only one, but I figured this was the one that most people know about. Microsoft Gaming to cut another 650 jobs, mostly in corporate and support. Games won't be affected. It sounds like they're just reducing headcount in unneeded or duplicated roles. I always question why these companies are cutting support roles necessarily, because then when somebody like needs, you need QA or a customer needs help, there's less people to field those things, and that's an interesting idea. But the corporate cuts kind of make sense. Upper management is definitely a thing that will have a lot of overlap between companies being acquired. I'm sure people's roles have been on the chopping block. You can probably tell by the way they treated you at the company. I don't know for sure, though. All right, let's move on to our next story. It's very, very much a bummer for anybody losing their jobs, but these cuts are the weirdest. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has a major leak, and it confirms a roster of over 180 characters with a certain Goku variant as a pre-order bonus. And it was interesting. I did not know that the game was going to be this massive. 180 characters. That spans all of Dragon Ball, like the entirety of Dragon Ball, as far as I can tell. Outside of like character creator ideas, because obviously that would be in like the millions. But anyway, this game has been on my radar, but I struggle to get excited about another. I'm not a big fan of fighting games, but this game looks great. Bringing back some of the old school like Budokai and Tenkaichi days, and so definitely looking forward to seeing how well this does at launch. I would like to play it. I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up right away, but 180 characters is insane, and the game looks like just amazing. Like this screenshot of Cell in the game, this looks like I'm watching like Dragon Ball Super in like 4K HDR, which is insane to me. But I'm very, very curious if those characters, how long it takes to unlock, or if there's like a fast way to do it. I don't know. Maybe a DLC that unlocks all the characters. They used to do that. That used to be. I don't know if it's a thing now, but I know it used to be a thing. So we'll just keep our eyes peeled. But cool, excited to see that. That accidentally leaked because somebody with a Japanese press site was doing coverage of the game and uploaded a video a few days earlier, something along those lines. It's wild to think about, but hey, here we are. Thank you, leaks and rumors. All right, move on to our next story. Let's talk about Battlefield. EA dropped a bunch of news this week, but this is where we talk about Battlefield. Vince Zampella confirms next Battlefield will use modern setting. First concept art revealed. So we got a lot of Battlefield updates, and this is the first concept art. What really drew me, not necessarily the art, but the headline itself, modern setting, kind of feels like, Modern Warfare kind of did the same thing. None of this futuristic stuff, not going down the weird sci-fi route. Boots on the ground, modern day, modern tech, maybe modern politics. I don't know. Do we really want that? Do we want to simulate modern conflicts? I think if you take a shooter, put it in the modern setting, but then add like 10 years, 15 years to whatever the current year is, and just you can do whatever you want. Because even if the game is still played 10 years from now, it's still interesting if the game is good. It doesn't really matter what the story is. Movies are kind of the same way, right? But anyway, here we go. IGN talks about this. They didn't leak. They give us a lot of information, but Battlefield goes back to basics. All that points to a back to basics approach for the next Battlefield. Indeed, head of Respawn and Group GM for EA Studios organization, Vince Zampella, is quick to shout out Battlefield 3 and 4 in the course of sitting down with IGN to talk about these new reveals on the decision to return to the modern era. He says, if you look back to the peak or pinnacle of Battlefield, it's that Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 era where everything was modern. I think we have to get back to the core of what Battlefield is and do that amazingly well, and then we'll see where it goes from there. I think for me, it's that peak of Battlefieldness is in that Battlefield 3 and 4 days. So I think it's nostalgic for players, for me, for the teams even. Those are kind of the heyday, although I would say 1942 also. So people really like the old Battlefield stuff, but then like the modern day stuff is where it like really took off. So I'm interested to see. I'm a huge fan of shooters, like playing first person shooters. I like playing story modes in first person shooters. And if they got a good story, then I will enjoy it. I'm terrible at multiplayer though. You guys, anybody that's hung around the channel long enough knows how great I am at multiplayer games. Article goes on to say, I'd rather have nice, dense, really nice, well-designed play spaces. Some of them are really good, and that's fair. Like, yeah, the 128 player, did it make it more fun? Like, doing the number for the sake of the number doesn't make any sense. We're testing everything around what's most fun. So they're talking about like all the past few Battlefield modes and the things they've done on the PC builds where they had 128 players. I think they did it on console as well. I haven't kept up. I really haven't. Battlefield 1 was a lot of fun. The story was great. I enjoyed the multiplayer, the little bit of time I spent with, but the story was fantastic. I truly enjoyed that. But Battlefield just kind of fell off. So I'm hoping this kind of turns out a little better because, after a couple years of lackluster releases, that you got to look back and go, okay, what can we do to fix it? I don't know how long this has been in development. Hopefully, we're not looking at, we spent the last 10 years making this game, then it releases and nobody cares except the most diehard Battlefield fans, which means nobody plays it long term. The game's lifespan is super short. But that's where we are. Let's move on. I just don't know. Let's move on to our next story because I don't know enough about Battlefield to keep talking. But the modern setting is very interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. Well, speaking of Respawn, a bunch of EA news. Like, there was some Sims news, but we don't talk about that here. Nobody here is watching the channel for the Sims. Respawn is developing the final chapter of the Star Wars Jedi story. 40 million users have played the series to date, according to EA itself. I don't really want to go into the article. I'm just excited that there's a third chapter. I still need to play the second one. Jedi, was it Survivor? Yeah, Jedi Survivor. It looked really good. I want to play it. The third game will be awesome, provided the teams are still allowed to just keep that creative vision and not have to do anything weird or incorporate unusual mechanics or something. Don't monetize it too heavily. You can do a DLC, but like, I don't know. It's a trend, right? Sometimes the third game is either the best or the absolute worst entry, and it's hard to tell which way it's going before you get it in your hands. So I think Respawn knows what they're doing. They've seen the success with both games, so I feel like Part 3 is going to be great. Good on Respawn. All right, let's go to our next topic. Pal World tweeted this. We hadn't talked about Pal World in a minute, but there were some rumors going around that they were going to go free to play, games as a service, something to change things up. And here they are on Twitter, just outright saying, TLDR, we're not changing our games business model. It will remain buy to play and not free to play or games as a service. Recently, an article was published in which we discussed the possible future direction of Power World and ideas for continuing the game for a long time. I think I even covered the possibility here on the channel that might happen in like a side note. But the interview that was being published was several months ago. At the time, we were still considering the best way forward for Power World to create a long-lasting game that continues to grow. Still discussing this internally. It is quite challenging to find the ideal path, but we've already decided that free-to-play games as a service approach is not suitable for us. Power World was never designed with that model in mind, and it would require too much work to adapt the game at this point. Additionally, we're very aware that this isn't just what our players want, and we always want to put our players first, which is awesome. We're considering skins and DLC for Power World in the future as a means to support development. But we will discuss this with you all again as we get closer to that point. For now, our priority remains making Power World the best game possible. Apologize for any concern this may have caused, and we hope this clarifies our position. This is like on the heels of the game releasing on PS5 pretty soon as well, from what I understand. With some Tokyo Game Show reveals maybe lined up. But it is important to know that sometimes when a game goes quiet, it's just because they're working on stuff, and it's not that the game's about to go under or they got to change to free to play to stay successful. It's just that, hey, they're working. Like, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and there's nothing really to share until the update or the next thing is ready. And I think that next big thing is going to be the PS5 release, because that's going to be a ton more players. That's probably a new version. There's a bunch of new features probably coming along with that. So let's just, hold out and see. But yeah, that interview definitely lended people to think that Power World is going to go free to play and completely change their whole model. And I don't know, it was fine like it was. I think there's enough people still playing. I might hop in once the next big update comes out. I don't know. As long as it stays in Game Pass, I'll check it out. I don't know if I'll purchase it unless they add something just so compelling that I would want to play it, buy it to play it again, which I don't know. They could. I like Pokemon. I like the Pokemon aspect of Power World. I like the monster catching. But some of the survival-y stuff wasn't really my favorite thing to do. So leave it at that. Let's move on to our next topic. Skate. Again, more EA news. I forgot about this one. Skate. Incredibly stoked to announce that Skate will be launching in early access in 2025. We'll share more details on what to expect in the coming months. And then a 19-second video. All right, I know I didn't make that like full screen, and I'm sorry. It's 20 seconds of just some random stuff happening, but it's not that maybe it was not. There was a lot they showed, but this game has been in development for so long that to get anything from it is pretty exciting. And then I don't have an article for it, but there was mention of Activision being in talks with Tony Hawk to produce another Tony Hawk game. And, all of that kind of put together. Is skating back in gaming? Like, is that a thing? Jet Set Radio's coming back? Are skating cool again? I don't know. It was never not cool as far as I'm concerned. But let's go. Skating games were fun back in the day. Hopefully this doesn't lean too hard into simulation and they retain the fun factor. Because I find when you lean too hard into simulation, you lose a lot of people that just want to play fun video games. Just saying. So what I saw looked fun, though. That 20-second clip looked fun. Let's move on. All right, Splatoon. Guys, we got the Splatfest last weekend. The last Splatfest in Splatoon 3. And we got this tweet on Monday. After 2 incredible years of Splatoon 3, regular updates will come to a close. Don't worry. Splatoween, Frosty Fest, Spring Fest, and Summer Nights will continue with some returning themes. Updates for weapon adjustments will be released as needed. Big run, extra work, and monthly challenges will continue for the time being. And Splatoon 3 was awesome. The last Splatfest was really fun. Grand Festival we did a lot of games in Splatoon over the last like few weeks, just from doing Grand Festival stuff, the big run. Um, all of that was great, and I really hope they're working. Obviously, they're working on the next one. If they're not, wow, way to drop a series that everybody likes. Nintendo. I don't think they would though. This has become, I think, too significant. This is their like shooter servicey game, and the way Nintendo does service based games is very interesting, because playing this, there's so much there that I didn't have to go and buy. There is DLC. You don't have to have it to play the base game and get like new cosmetics and new gear and stuff. And I don't know, if we had a lot of fun. Team past won the Splatfest somehow. RIP Team present. We tried. There were too many of us though, and every game was just a mirror match, and that didn't help. If you know, you know. All right, but yeah, so Splatoon 3, great game. I hope to see the next one pretty soon. Probably with the Switch too, right? Right? All right, moving on. Nintendo also announced the Mario Kart 8 bundle is back this holiday season with an OLED bundle and a regular Switch bundle. So there you go. It also comes with 1 year of Switch Online individual membership, which is great. It's a great gift, honestly. Ton of games. You get Switch Online access to play Mario Kart, but also virtual console stuff. It's fantastic, and it's not surprising that pretty much every year of the Switch's lifespan has had a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bundle. The game will not die. I feel like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe will just get ported to the Switch 2 with like 4K HDR mode, and we just will never get anything past Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's the last one. I don't know. Mario Kart 9 should be good, though. Maybe it's a back to basics. Maybe the game's just too complicated now, and they just go back to pure karting and not trying to recreate the old tracks. It's just all new stuff. I don't know. One can hope, right? Moving on. We got a new trailer for Mario and Luigi Brothership. I will make this one bigger as soon as I figure out how to. Here we go. I'm excited for this game. I don't know though. I want to pick it up. I still need to play Paper Mario though. November 7th. I forgot that's coming out this year. Like, that's so crazy to me. But it's gonna be good. It looks like a good game. The visuals are nice. I'm really wondering who developed this game, who worked on it, if it was all in-house. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, once the game releases. Maybe Nintendo likes to give you all of the information about a game. There's no secrets anymore, right? They reveal everything. And so we're going to know all the details well before the game comes out. And then it's going to leak like the week before anyway, right? Nintendo games always leak. Since they've gone digital, the game itself leaks right before it comes out. Echoes of Wisdom has been circulating for a week now. So anyway, let's move on. New trailer, Plucky Squire, which we talked about, PlayStation Plus. I have been inundated with this stuff. So let's watch the trailer. I think we've seen it before. But the game looks good. This is the launch trailer.
A world of creativity. Let's have a look around, shall we? Our first stop is Inkwood, where our wizard friend Moonbeard hits the turntables, as only a wizard can. On to Tome Tower, where the villainous sorcerer Humgrump is causing a spot of mischief for our plucky hero, Jot. The Sonnet Swamps is a serene land of snails and poetry, but beware the pesky, punky bugs. At Honey Peak, the
Why are those flies so
won't
buff?
be giving up a drop of honey without a fight. Watch out, Jot. Boogie Beach is usually a relaxed locale.
Do the palm trees have sunglasses?
Troops are causing worrisome waves. Thrash guides
I like
through
this
his homeland
presentation.
of Trog Mountain, where the Mega Eagle defends the peak with a mighty cry. And finally, we arrive at the town of Artia, where artists bustle beneath the soaring towers of the Royal Castle. I'm sure there was a castle around here somewhere. Ah, there it is. And upon its balcony, the good Queen Chroma, bravely facing the danger from, What was his name again? Ah, yes, Grump.
The game just looks very charming.
All of this and
A
more
lot of
await you within the pages of The Plucky Squire.
This is great. This is great. It looks amazing. I hope it's fun. I really do. It looks good. I thought we could watch the trailer here. I like having the trailers in the game news. Y'all let me know in comments and chat what you think. All right, let's go. All right, here's one we talked about. How Intel lost the Sony PlayStation business. Now, since the PlayStation 4, Xbox One generation, and going into the current PS5, Xbox Series XS generation, AMD has been the CPU manufacturer and GPU manufacturer for the consoles, Sony and Microsoft consoles, with NVIDIA being Switch's technical partner designer. And most of us know that, right? Well, apparently, with the PlayStation 6, Intel was bidding to get the PlayStation 6 and lost the contract to AMD in 2022. And dispute over profit margins blocked the Intel-Sony deal. PlayStation deal could have generated $30 billion in revenue for Intel. It's interesting. I feel like the price would have been higher because Intel, I don't know, AMD is kind of riding the first place price war situation. Their chips aren't as affordable as they used to be when Ryzen first launched. But that's too much in the weeds for this show. Anyway, this is from Reuters, which might get a little too businessy, too technical. But let's just hit the highlight. The effort by Intel to win out over AMD in a competitive bidding process to supply the design for the forthcoming PlayStation 6 chip and Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company as the contract manufacturer would have amounted to billions of dollars of revenue in fabricating thousands of silicon wafers a month, two sources said. Intel and AMD were the final two contenders in the bidding process for the contract. This is interesting because who else would there have been? Because Qualcomm, would they have been an Apple? Like, who else is making chips, GPU, CPU, SoCs, which are basically all-in-one chips for consoles? Who else is making them? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know who else would design. And then what else is interesting is with Intel's push into the dedicated GPU hardware space with Intel Arc, I'm wondering how much of the Arc tech would have been incorporated into the PlayStation 6 or how much of it would have been custom, Sony stuff. And it's pretty interesting. But with AMD winning out the contract again, basically, we're going to stick with AMD tech for the PlayStation 6. Not that surprising to me because this ensures a smoother transition from PlayStation 5 to PS6. But what does that mean at a technical level? We have no idea yet. We have no clue what to expect just yet. But anyway, that'll do it for this week's game news. I like the idea of thinking like if somebody else is making the hardware, how different would it be for us, the gamers? I don't know. We probably wouldn't notice that much, just to be really honest, but it could be different. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching the video. If you're watching on YouTube, obviously, you're watching a recorded video. We do this live on Twitch every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and post it to YouTube for you guys to watch on demand the very next morning. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed it. Go follow on Twitch. We stream daily on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok, and then longer streams throughout the week. Definitely check it out. But again, I appreciate you being here. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video. Go and play video games now. Bye.